Well, hello. It's the wee hours of the morning as I prepare to go to bed, and I wanted to try to do this essay quickly. I'm not very good at doing them quickly, but it's not ready to go. I haven't marked it yet, but we'll mark it as we go along, shall we? Okay. Here's the question. It is important for children to learn the difference between right and wrong at an early age. All right, that's the premise. And you still have to think to yourself, what is an early age? What does that mean? And then this is the part you have to decide whether you agree or disagree. And it's, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this? Oh, I'm sorry. Punishment is necessary to help them learn that distinction, this distinction. Well, okay, distinction comes from distinguish, or being able to tell one from the other, tell them apart. The next part is, what sort of punishment should parents and teachers be allowed to teach, allowed to use to teach? Oh no, I can't edit because I'm in a slideshow. Okay, recording, yes. Now, for many of us who are in this situation, teaching online is new for us, just as learning online is new for you. Not so much with me. I've been in front of one of these things before. It's a green screen. And in the virtual learning environment, you don't inside of a green screen if you're teaching. Making fun of the virtual learning environment. We have the listen opely, view honestly, learning online via educators. Live. Outstanding. Live. Ladies and gentlemen, we're live. There's the cat. All right, and we want to be where we can be heard. So we're going to start now, finally, to discuss Janisha's essay in depth, and this very interesting essay. And I'll be perfectly honest, so I don't get your hopes up. It's not interesting because it's good. It's not like interesting and like, oh, that's a very interesting essay. It's interesting as a person who reads it as a critic, or as a corrector, as an English teacher, how you are using collocations as they are like punches, right? You get all these collocations. What are that? Those are blocks and words that go together, word friends. And you've got a lot of them. You've studied it and you've learned them. However, they're punches, but they're all missing. They're all like, 90% of them are like whoosh, just swing and a miss. It doesn't. And if the other boxer is a 5.0, standing there going miss. Because if you can tire yourself out. And anyway, the reader gets tired very quickly of the type of mistakes that you're making. So let's take a look more closely, shall we? I brought something's wrong with this document. I've never seen anything like it. Being able to distinguish between positive and negative deeds. Right? And the question says the difference between right and wrong. Now, see, here's the thing about paraphrasing. It is not a matter of taking the terms from the question out and replacing them with certain synonyms that and keeping it all in relatively the same order and expecting that to work. Because there are very few true synonyms in the English language. Words that mean the exact same thing. There means words that mean very similar things and are interchangeable, but even then you have a slight variation of meaning. Now, if you just do that with one word in a sentence, no, it's not a big deal. But if every word is slightly different than the original sentence, the combined effect of all of those changes, all of those just slightly different words, is huge and becomes incoherent. Okay? Being able to distinguish positive and negative deeds. Okay? Yes, positive and negative, right and wrong. No, they're not synonyms. Positive, right. Being positive is right. Being negative is wrong. I don't know about that. I mean, lots of negative people. Doesn't mean they're wrong. And then what do you mean by negative? Deeds. No, okay. There's no deeds in there. In the opening sentence. Okay. From the very beginning of life. Now, this is another thing that's very interesting. I've never seen anyone do this before. Is your continuous use of adjectives where they don't need to go, or adverbs. Like every word needs to be modified from the beginning of life. All right, that's one thing. From the very beginning of life. Yes, that is a collocation. The very beginning of life means the moment you're born. That's what they're talking about. The very beginning, like when you pop out. The first day, when you're 1 day old. Oh, I don't think this baby knows right from wrong yet, do you? No, let's put it back. All right, Mom, open up. Put your back in. So, and you put very beginning instead of just the beginning, and even that would be wrong, because no one asks babies to know right and wrong, because you've seen that elsewhere, but it doesn't fit. We'll see that many more times. Beginning of life is counted as a crucial part of growing up. Once again, crucial is not the same as important. Okay. Important and crucial. Crucial is very important. Okay, necessity of punishment. Well, necessity is a noun. And, by the way, colors. What do all these mean? Yellow means incorrect word choice. It's lexical. And you're going to see a lot of yellow. Right? Necessity of punishment. Well, you could say the necessity of punishment. Sure. Why is that? Yeah, we need it. Because my finger was just on it. You need a green. It's green. Green is for grammar. The necessity of punishment. To instill this knowledge. Instill. No, we don't instill. In this instance, instill is to forcibly put. Yeah? Okay. To put it in a way. I'd have to look it up. But the right and wrong is not knowledge. It's ethics. And the necessity of punishment to instill this knowledge in them. Who are they? That's very, blue is coherence and cohesion, and referencing. It's not clear who them are. Has been a much debated issue. Has it now? Really? By who? And where does it say that in the question? I know, believe me, this is about the 10,000 times I've read this phrase, has been a much debated issue. Who says that? Is it Makai? I don't know where it came from. But there's some IELTS teachers out there who've taught people that that's a good way to begin an essay, and it's not. And to have it come in the third sentence makes no sense whatsoever. It appears to me, why are you giving your opinion now? That it appears to me that no sort of punishment that includes physical tortures or mental abuse shall be practiced upon children. Okay, a couple things wrong. Torture is an uncountable noun, and shall is not used since about the 17th century, except when we don't even teach shall anymore. It's old, and you'll still hear it, but only in questions, and only in the first person with I. I shall do that. I shall do that. Or, shall we? Yeah, let's. It's it's like out of the Bible or something. Shall be practiced upon children. Rather, parents and educators should make efforts to discipline them. There's that unclear them again. Stop doing that. Unclear them in a more friendly way. Okay. It seems to me that no sort of punishment that includes... Well, okay, that's your opinion. What is it doing in the introduction in this type of question? This is a two-part question. Okay, you've got two things you got to answer. Do you agree it's necessary? Well, no, I guess not. But, and what sort of punishment should be allowed? Well, what do you say here? You tell us what should not be allowed. Well, that's not the question. Not what shouldn't be allowed. What should be allowed. Okay, now the next paragraph. Right now. Do you connect? Wait, moving on. Friendly is definitely not the word you want here. Hey, son. At least I'm smacking you with a smile on my face. I'm friendly. Punishment often implies methods which are downright harsh on growing children. Oh, yeah. Okay, implies is not the word you want here. Downright harsh is a collocation that is not used in this type of essay. And harsh just, and it doesn't imply it. And growing children, what other kind of children are there? Non-growing children? Oh, by the way, here's how you got your 177 word long sentence. Is because you put a space between here and the period. And another one here. The computer does not recognize that as the end of a sentence. So the computer marker thinks you're just going on and on. Okay, now, generally speaking, it's good to hedge, right? Hedge means saying things like, oh, it might be this, this could happen, or the result might be that, but there is a possibility that these practices may permanently scar a tender mind. Well, a scar is something that lasts into the future, and it wouldn't be so tender anymore. Since the memories of being abused are likely to be kept alive, I would think so. Yeah, most people either take physical torture and abuse and bury it way down deep inside that they don't ever remember. They don't have a hard time remembering it. But you know what? You're asking but you're answering. The point of this paragraph so far, and it's how you ended the last one with tortures, is that physical abuse of children is bad. Well, yeah. Is that what the question's about? No, punishment. It's about, go to your room. No sugar. No Coca-Cola for you. You can't play video games. It's not torture. It's not what they're talking about. And they're likely to be kept alive for the rest of their lives. And thus, what do? Thus, in turn, why in turn in there, may lead to remarkable despise. There's that adjective, that adjective coming in when it doesn't need to be there. Despise as a verb. I don't think it's a noun, is it? What is the noun form of despise? I have despise for him. No, that's not a word. What would I say? I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. I've never seen despise used as a noun. May lead to remarkable... Would you stop that, computer? Okay, remarkable despise against the punishment givers. Parents. And eventually may turn them, who are them? Into rebels in a detrimental way. Rebels. Okay, what's the harm? What's wrong with the rebels? Oh, but it's a rebel in a detriment. It's not in like the cool... I mean, Justin Bieber's kind of a rebel, in a little bit, move away. I'm a cool rebel. No, this is the detrimental type of rebel. For instance, it is frequently observed by who? That children raised in a rather strict household. There's that adjective coming in, an adverb in this case, doesn't need to be there. Rather strict. That in British English, anyway, in both... Rather is a weakener. How is it? Well, it's rather strict. It's rather strict. Yeah. I mean, it is strict, but it's not super strict. It's rather strict. It's a rather strict household. They don't want to let their children watch more than 2 hours of TV. There are no phones at the table. Yeah, it's rather strict. Rather strict. Often get involved in petty crimes just to revolt against their parents. Okay, why? All right. And revolt is not the right word. Communities revolt against their governments. Moreover, punishments those involve abusing a child mentally, may severely impact her mental health in future. Incoherent. Don't even know what that means. They even seem to develop multiple personality. Seem to. I can't tell. It could be multiple personality disorders. Who are you talking to? Oh, okay. It's the snowball effect. The rather strict household leads to petty crime, mental illness, and multiple personalities. Really. Your argument does not get stronger if you make the consequences ridiculously horrible. Now, it is true that mild form, again, that's why put that adjective with that noun. It doesn't belong. Of punishment is usually uncountable, can rectify a child's mistake. Rectify, no, that's not the word you want. Use regular English, lady. A child's mistake. Is that what we're getting after them for? Mistakes? And this way, why he? Why not her? These days we use they, not he or her. It can rectify a child's mistake, and this way, and in this way, he, who's he, may learn the lesson to differentiate the good from the bad. Why the? I know it is sometimes the good is referring to all things good. However, this is incoherent. The severity of punishment is an objective feeling. What does that mean? Subjective, you mean? I don't know. And ensuring the right grade of it is a daunting task. Why daunting? Too many adjectives that don't belong. And yes, daunting task is a collocation. But it's sort of like the basic parts of parenting as knowing how severely to punish your children. It's not a daunting task. And you certainly wouldn't punish them for making a mistake. You got that one wrong. To be a task to be done, and therefore may go beyond the hand at many circumstances. No idea what that means. Go beyond the hand. To impart positive lessons to children, parents, and the teachers. Which ones? Okay, the children's teachers. Now, the difference between a 7 and an 8, or 8 and 9 almost in this instance, is being able to distinguish in the question that it's talking about what types of punishments should parents and teachers be allowed to use. Now, you could take that as two different questions. And if you're really good, if you have time and space, you would. Because the types of punishments that parents can use are allowed to use, and the types that teachers, believe me, I've been a teacher in high school, very different. Very different. Okay, different questions. And this is my favorite part. What type of punishments should we use? Well, we could try rewarding a child. Is that a punishment? What can we do because it does say what punishments can be allowed. Well, we can reward. That's not a punishment. Cutting short his cutting short his playtime. Oh, bastard! Terrible. When he creates a mess. Oh my goodness! Can be a great way of making him learn the distinction. What distinction? Oh, the one we've been talking about. Make a mess. Makes a mistake, and then As far as I know, children make messes. That's part of what they do. Children make mistakes. I'm glad this is not a parental. It's like we lived in some super crowded future where we had to pass a test to have kids. In conclusion, punishments should not be the way of discipline. Discipline, spelled wrong. Rather, teaching him through practical examples. Not a question, not part of the question, is more advisable. I think I'm missing something here. Is this the same amount of words? I feel like there's like a whole paragraph missing or something. How many words is that? 399. 399. Okay, well, anyway. Dear, stop throwing adjectives onto nouns where they don't belong. Okay? Parents and should be acquainted with. Acquainted with means anywhere I look on this essay. The good thing is you don't have very many grammar mistakes. Okay, you know how to use English, in what order to put the words, and punctuation could be a little bit better, but not a big deal. No grammar errors. You obviously have a wide vocabulary, but you're using them incorrectly. And yeah, you're missing what the question means. And I didn't get any sense of to what extent you agree that punishment is necessary. You just said torture is wrong. Well, what about other forms of punishment? What about, what did I get? When I was a kid, I got in trouble all the time. And I couldn't leave the house. I was grounded. I had to stay in the house. That was punishment. Took away my TV. Couldn't watch TV. Punishment. Is that acceptable? We don't know from your answer. Okay, good luck in the future. You have a bright future, but don't put that in an essay. Just because I say bright future, control yourself with your adjectives and stop using collocations that don't belong.